A new Halloween movie is in the works. I am so excited. Let's talk a little bit about it.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Be afraid. Be very afraid.
I want to be a fighter, like you.
Oh, let it burn! Let it burn!
Did you miss me?
You have to shoot them in the head. They always come back.
The boat can leave now. Tell the crew.
Well, sometimes that is better.
Good luck.
Hey everybody, I'm Killjoy Jake, and today we have some really exciting news. We're talking about H50, baby. Before we get into all of that though, please make sure to like this video and subscribe for more horror movie updates just like this one. Hopefully some more exciting ones like this too. All right, now let's talk about Halloween 14. There is so much to talk about regarding a brand new Halloween film, if that's my director's wish list or some potential plot details. But before we get into all of that, we have to talk about how we got here in the first place. After Halloween Ends released in theaters back in 2022, Blumhouse's deal with the Akkads was over. The rights ultimately ended up with Miramax a year later, who initially announced that they were planning a TV series based on the IP. Rumors circulated at the time about a TV show following Dr. Loomis prior to Michael's escape from Smith's Grove in the 1978 classic. While that certainly could have been cool, I think a lot of fans were really yearning for another Michael movie, especially after Halloween Ends kinda cheaped us out a bit. The last film in the David Gordon Green trilogy had a polarizing reception, focusing on a brand new character who had the evil transferred into him or something through Michael's scary devil eyes. I still don't really understand what happened in the sewer in that movie, but whatever. It also doesn't help that Halloween Ends was marketed as like the final showdown between Laurie Strode and Michael Myers, and that kind of ends up being an afterthought in a sequence that's really only a couple minutes long at the end of the film. That movie is more so about turning Corey Cunningham into the Shape 2.0 rather than the classic Coke that is Michael Myers. I'm guessing the disinterest in the TV show as well as an upcoming 50th anniversary is what led to today's update. It's been announced that Miramax is planning the 14th film installment in the Halloween franchise, set for an October 2028 release. This is just in time for the 50-year anniversary of the original film, which alone would generate a bunch of buzz around this new installment. Miramax frequently collaborates with Paramount in the horror space, most recently Scary Movie 6, which will likely be the home for the next phase of the franchise. So you're telling me that theoretically Ghostface and Michael Myers could have a cheesy versus movie? That wouldn't really make any sense, but my slasher heart really wants that dumb film. So what could Halloween 14 H50 be about? Well, the rumor mill alleges that the Akkads were not super happy with how David Gordon Green's trilogy ended up turning out. While Halloween 2018 was super successful, the following two films definitely had a divisive reception. No matter how you feel about Kills and Ends, I personally love one and hate the other. Those movies were mixed. The Akkads also seem to really care about getting Michael and the lore of this series right, so I think whatever comes next is definitely going to be a little stricter there. To keep consistent with that whole idea, as well as the way the franchise has transformed over the years under the helm of various creatives, I'd say this new era is once again going to look very different than the last three movies. The biggest difference that I'm predicting between this new film and the last era of the series is that it is definitely not going to follow the requel format. The requel is just so stale at this point and would especially be considered a retread for Halloween after doing 3 of them. Halloween cannot fall into that repetitive cycle. They need to do something fresh with whatever comes next, and it seems like the Akkads would agree. So is there a director out there that could give this series the facelift it so desperately needs? Now there's a million different names that come to mind. A lot of great directors could definitely make a great Halloween movie. But there's one guy who specifically has tackled some old school slasher IPs and have done some really fresh things with them. Mike P. Nelson is at the top of my list. This guy is one of the most underrated working horror directors out there right now, behind many franchise hits like Silent Night, Deadly Night 2025. That movie delivered on reinventing the concept of the simple Santa slasher into something supernatural and even romantic, with some satisfying bloody kills on the side. That was no contest my favorite slasher movie of last year, and it even features Rowan Campbell in the lead role. While I wasn't so crazy about Corey Cunningham conceptually, his Billy Chapman fucking rules. Mike Nelson was also behind the criminally underrated Wrong Turn remake, as well as the misunderstood Sweet Revenge short film that brought back Jason Voorhees after that franchise was dormant for 16 long years. Mike is perfect for Halloween because he would give the franchise exactly what it needs right now, a fresh new look. Now what could that be for Halloween? How do you do something new in entry number 14? I mean, and that's difficult for any series, especially a slasher franchise. I may have an idea. So every single Halloween film pretty much takes place around the time it came out, and a lot of these movies even pride themselves on being the next generation of Michael Myers. The Thorn trilogy commenced on the 10-year anniversary of the original. The 20th anniversary film is literally titled H2O, with an outrageous, madness-inducing sequel. Rob Zombie somehow made 2 remake movies that revolved around the 30th anniversary year, and David Gordon Green nailed his first film on the 40th. All of these films find a way to take the story of the original 1978 classic and update it for its respective decade or time period. What if H50 just doesn't do that? Wouldn't it be kind of refreshing to get a Halloween film that once again takes place in 1978? A movie that emulates the tone, feel, and atmosphere of the John Carpenter classic, but tells an entirely new story. Look, we have to admit that making a franchise continuation at this point has to have some sort of level of nostalgia. So what if instead of bringing back Jamie Lee Curtis for the 1000th time to fight Michael Myers, instead the nostalgia is embedded in the actual tone, feel, and new characters of this upcoming film? This whole new film could be set up in a similar way to the flashback scene at the beginning of Halloween Kills. It takes place in the 1970s with Michael breaking out of Smith's Grove again, but encountering totally different characters that fateful night. It would essentially be an alternate universe version of the original film, and answer the question of what if Laurie Strode and her stupid friends never existed. I don't mean to sound like a Laurie Strode hater. I honestly love this character, especially in the original film, but we just got off of 3 movies that were basically this epic that focused on the character, and well, didn't do a whole lot for her. Outside of Halloween 2018, Laurie Strode just does not do a whole lot of anything in those other 2 films. In fact, I'd argue she is crazy out of character in Halloween Ends. I'm curious of who else is hanging out in Haddonfield in 1978. Some dumb teenagers at the drive-in who are getting drunk and not really thinking about masked killers coming after them? Maybe they're watching The Thing from Another World on the big screen. Wouldn't that be a fun reference? The point being there, the nostalgia of the new movie is baked into the setting, the time period, the 70s. Halloween will forever be this glimpse at late 70s horror. Why not capitalize on that specific nostalgia? The absolute #1 thing for me, though, is that we gotta keep Michael's mystique intact. Explaining the inner workings of the boogeyman takes away his greatest asset, which is why conceptually Curse and Ends both fail as Halloween movies for me. No matter what direction the new movie takes, the story shouldn't be about explaining Michael's near invincibility or enigmatic motive. He's just an evil sociopath whose health points are far greater than anyone else in the surrounding area. That's it. Make the story of the film interesting with whoever our new characters are. As long as the movie can keep it simple, I think it could be another big success for the series. As an enormous fan of the simplicity of the original film, I really hope they knock that specific element out of the park. What do you guys want for the next Halloween film, though? Do you have a specific director, tone, atmosphere in mind? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Thank you all so much for watching. Please subscribe, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.